Good evening and welcome to our latest Elite FPL podcast. And I'm here with Steve-O, live in the room, a little bit different this time round. Unfortunately, last week we weren't able to do a podcast for you. Basically had some technical issues with my laptop, which is actually now broke. So it's not been a good week for technology for myself. But yeah, we're pleased to be back here with you tonight. Obviously, we're filming this in Steve-O's room on his mobile, so we're not going to be able to interact with the comments or do the screen share as we normally do. But if you've joined us, thanks a lot, and obviously appreciate you coming by. And we're basically going to be looking forward to game week 22. We've had the FA Cup, some pretty interesting games. I actually can see your comments popping up now, which is cool.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. We are new to all this technology, so it's good to be able. We can see your comments. We can't actually, do anything else, but in terms of team share, but. Yeah, looking forward to game week 22. Going to be talking about our own teams, doing our predictions, and looking ahead. And hi, Jason. Good to see you in the chat, mate.
Jason?
It's our Jason. Yeah, he's in the chat. Got the comments on there. So Jason sent us all the instructions to set us up. So I'm really pleased with that. But yeah, we're gonna hand the notes over to Steve-O, and we're gonna basically preview game week 22. Really.
Yeah, it's the usual process, really, because this is all completely brand new today. I think we're just going to go for the games, not worry about who's got the amount of scores right. Basically, I've come down from London to basically get tattooed, and it's the best opportunity for me and Dan to get together, and it's always nice seeing Dan, and basically doing this together is probably the best way forward, because there's none of this stuttering going on as well. So we'll just kick off with, your team, Dan. Arsenal away at West Ham, and a lot of people are thinking that Aubameyang could be a really good captain choice against West Ham. Off the top of my head, I think you will probably beat West Ham, and I'm probably going to go with. I think it's going to be a bit edgy, actually. I'm going to go 3-1, and I think Arnautovic may get on the score sheet.
Yeah, I don't see any clean sheet this time round. Obviously, won in the cup, beat Blackpool 3-0, standard win. Give some of the reserves and second string players a chance to get some game time, but. Prior to that, 5-1 away to Liverpool, so we need to get some points back on the board. Chelsea slipped up.
But you beat Fulham though, didn't you? So the confidence is getting
it's a little bit. So I'm going to go for a 2-1 victory to Arsenal.
2-1.
You can see that. Yeah, it'll be tight. But Aubameyang, pretty good captain choice. I've still got him on my team, and although our defence is leaking left, right, and centre.
Yeah, that's my one worry with my team. So I've got. Well, you've got the same team as me, haven't you?
I haven't got Kasanic. No. Kasanic, although he actually returned in the last game week.
Yeah, he did, and he also played against Blackpool, which I was a bit surprised at.
Yes, he takes competitions quite seriously, so yeah.
So you're going 2-1. So on to the next game, where last night's game was just... It was awful, wasn't it? I know Liverpool won't be taking this particularly seriously, the FA Cup, because they've obviously got bigger thumbs and a lot of bigger pies, but... I actually think this could be the shock result of the game week. I think a lot of people out there are going to be captaining Salah. Don't get me wrong, I think it's a really, really good choice. But they're against Brighton, who are actually really good at home. I think this is going to be a really, really tight game. And Liverpool's defence at the moment, with Gomez out, Lovren out.
Yeah,
he went off with a hamstring last night.
Yeah, within the first 10 minutes, it was quite an experience.
Some 16-year-old kid called Hoover. Who?
He had a lot of mess to clear up, didn't he?
Yeah, I don't think he's not going to play. I think Van Dijk will be back. I believe he's injured at the moment, but I think that was just a FA Cup injury.
Ooh.
I'm actually thinking this is going to be really, really tough. I'm going to go 1-1. I think Brighton may actually get a draw here. Cause Liverpool a lot of problems. I'm going to go 1-1 then.
Do you know what? I'm going to go the complete opposite. I think Liverpool, after losing to Man City, after losing to Wolves last night, I think they're going to be on the backlash, and I think Salah could be a good captain choice. Let us know what you think in the comments, but I'm going to go 3-1 to Liverpool. I think they're just... Okay. I know Brighton have been strong at home this season, and I know they've done really well. Christian's done a really good job. But I just think Liverpool now, they can't afford to slip up, can they? So, still quite worried about Salah and what to do with all that. But we'll get more into that later on. But, yeah, I'm going to go 3-1 Liverpool.
So 3-1, wow. Now then, if you remember this next game, it's Burnley versus Fulham. We've gone back to basics. We're sticking with that rigid back four, rigid back midfield, and as my dad says, the two up front, small man, little man. Ashley Barnes runs around like a little terrier, and the big man Chris Woods. And I think, as my dad says, just kick the ball up to them, and we're going to score. I think we're going to get revenge. Was it 4-3?
4-2,
4-2 was it?
Yeah.
We were battered by Fulham. I'll never forget, because where I live, where I work is actually right next to Craven Cottage, give or take, and it was absolutely pouring down that day. The day was
It was
horrific.
raining goals as well. It was sorry to. Yeah,
and Mitrovic, you got a couple, didn't you?
Yeah, well, we've got a comment here. Aman Dillon, just to say hello to Aman Dillon and Ryan in chat. Aman Dillon says that Mitrovic will score against Burnley. So,
hold on a minute.
You know.
Come on, what was it yesterday? You came on the FA Cup or something and missed a penalty?
You missed a penalty, against Oldham on Sunday. They lost to Oldham.
Has he scored since he's... I can't even think when he scored
He did score against Huddersfield.
Right, that's right, the 1-0, the last minute goal.
And Cameron missed the penalty before and had that whole hoo-ha.
Do you know what? I think we're going to win again, 1 or 2-0. I think we our tails are up. We just about beat Barnsley, but funny enough, against Barnsley, they're our bogey team. We can never ever beat Barnsley. It doesn't matter how well we were doing in the Championship. We come up against Barnsley, we'd never win. We'd always lose quite heavily as well. So beating them 1-0 with a last minute penalty was quite relief, really. We've got Man City next, so thanks. But I think it's going to be 1 or 2-0. I think we're going to do him. I think we're going to this 6-pointer. I think we're going to do him. So what do you reckon, Dan?
I mean, for regular viewers of the show, obviously every week.
My dad's downstairs.
Yeah.
I'm
I'm in the house of Burnley fans, so I've got to But as I say, every week there's always a big game, a 6-pointer, and this is a 6-pointer, most definitely.
There's one in a minute.
You know, Burnley have got a couple of wins. They obviously won in the cup as well, so it's all positive, all good momentum.
Yes.
Fulham, they're going to be shocked after losing at home. So I know people say the FA Cup's not a priority, but it's still, shock defeat. So I'm going to go for a draw. I'm going to go for 1-1, and I think we've got some guys in the chat saying about Mitrovic as well. Ryan is in the chat. Hello, Ryan. He's saying captaining Aubameyang for the week. It's a good choice, but yeah, I'm going to go 1-1 in this particular game.
Do you know what? What do you think on Burnley assets as defensive options? Because I actually think we're back to how we were playing last year, which is just, like I said, this defensive brick wall. Nothing's going to get through us. Tom Heaton's back. Nick Pope came back as well.
Yeah.
I think Heaton will keep his place.
So Joe Hart's going to be third choice now.
Oh,
he's left he's left Man City, he's left Torino,
him
left West Ham. I feel sorry for Joe Hart. Well, actually, no, I don't.
But I think there may be some good options in the Burnley defence. And I reckon for anybody watching this, there are some cheap options in the Burnley defence. So, Stephen Ward. I think it's 4.8 million, maybe 4.7.
Yeah, sounds about right.
I highly recommend getting Stephen Ward. He returned against Barnsley, and whenever he plays for us, he does really, really well. So I think that there's a tip from a Burnley fan here. Stephen Ward, if you're thinking of any assets from Burnley. But talking of 6-pointers, Cardiff versus Huddersfield. This is awful again. Awful game. And
another 6-pointer.
It's another
There's two big games. There's all big games, but these are the two 6-pointers that we're covering so far.
I think that Cardiff are going to edge past Huddersfield. I've got this beef with Huddersfield because whenever I listen to football podcasts, they always bang on about how Huddersfield don't score, but they always seem to score against my players who are in defence. So, Lindelof, for example. But I'm going to go with a Cardiff victory here, and I think it's going to be awful. I reckon 1-0.
You reckon? Yeah. Like I said, it's another 6-pointer. I've not had any Cardiff or Huddersfield players in my team this season.
Oh, right.
Unsurprisingly. Huddersfield have struggled for goals. Cardiff have had some good little wins at home. Yeah, I'm going to go 2-1 to Cardiff. They're doing well, all things considered, considering a small budget and how they were basically favourites to be 20th. They put up a good fight. So yeah,
Huddersfield are gone now, aren't they? They're 8 points behind 17th or something like that?
Yeah, it's going to be tough for Huddersfield.
I think they've vanished. Now then on to another team that are very poor at home against what I call the trolls of the Premier League, which is Watford. It's Crystal Palace versus Watford. Looking at it here, I always seem to predict Watford to win and they never do. So they're not going to win this because I'm predicting them I always seem to predict 2-0 to Watford. I'm going to go Yeah, let's go 2-1. I'll go 2-1 to Watford. What do you think, Dan? Because obviously you brought in Delafeu, wasn't it?
Delafeu, yeah, he got an assist in the prior game week, but he didn't get anything in the 3-3 draw with Bournemouth.
Yes, of course.
And that was the one that's the one I did the video on Instagram, Elite FPL, if you want to check us out on Instagram as well. But yeah, I was really, really frustrated about that. This game, it's like two teams that got fast players on the counter attack, and it could be quite an open game, I'm thinking. I'm going to go 2 on Palace.
Oh, you're going the opposite.
Maybe even get Wan-Bissaka in onto my starting 11.
On to the next game too. God, literally Leicester hot and cold at the moment. They seem to. Well, what is it? They beat Man City. They drew with. What was it? What was
right.
That?
So they beat Chelsea away 1-0.
Yes.
They lost to Cardiff, I believe.
Yeah, thanks very much, yeah.
They beat Man City. I don't know in what order.
Sorry, can I just interject? So, anybody watching this, on the podcast that wasn't unable to upload the other day...
The Lost Podcast.
The Lost Podcast. I mentioned the fact that it was... When FPL goes against you for luck, it goes against you. And in my free hit chip, which happened in game week 20... I had Pereira of Leicester and Vardy as my striker, as my differentials from a team against Cardiff. They did nothing, did they? They did absolutely nothing. What happened the following week?
They beat Man City.
They beat Man City. What was it? 1-0?
2-1, and Pereira scored.
And Vardy scored as well.
Yes.
You sure that wasn't a Chelsea game?
No, Pereira definitely scored against Man City.
Yeah. It's just when your luck's in, your luck's in. When it's not,
and then they lost to Newport County in the game I actually watched.
Yeah. So they're up against Southampton, and Southampton, do you know what? I reckon Southampton are going to win here, and I'm going to go with what you said about Watford. I'm going to go, Crystal Palace. I'm going to go 2-1 to Southampton.
Oh, do you know what? This is a tough game for me because I've got Schmeichel still in my team from a wild card that I did many moons ago, and he's done so well for me. But it's like, I look at this thing, obviously they got the away win to Everton, that was the game I forgot to mention, but it's like, as soon as I saw the next fixture, I'm like, going on this recent run of form, I'm like, he'll probably concede against Southampton. So I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw in this match. Not too sure what to do about Schmeichel, but we'll see.
Now on to another popular potential captain choice if you own him. It's Hazard up against Newcastle. Let's be honest here, Hazard's the only attack for Chelsea at the moment. I think Chelsea are going to comfortably win here. I think it's going to be 3, maybe 4. If I had Hazard, would I captain him? It's a tough one. I wouldn't captain him basically because I don't like players that don't seem to be able to score against the poorer teams. He did nothing in the last game week and the game week before that. I'm going to go 3 or 4-0. I think Hazard will return something against Newcastle here. What do you think, Dan?
Well, Chelsea have actually signed a striker, but they've loaned him back to Borussia Dortmund.
Pulisic, isn't it?
Yeah, Pulisic. Sorry if I've mispronounced that, but yeah, he's loaned back to Dortmund for the rest of the season. But
why is that? Just do you know?
I don't know. I really
because they've got so much faith in Morata and Giroud.
Yeah, they got so much faith in those two top strikers. But Fabregas seems to be going as well, from what we.
Oh, he's gone. I think he's gone.
Yeah, gone to Monaco with Omri. But yeah, for this game, I think it will be standard 2-0 Chelsea win.
A professional.
You know, I think Benitez will try and set them up to be defensive and try and get a result similar to Southampton, but I just think Chelsea have got to get back to winning ways. They drop points at home to Southampton. The top four, the race to top four, you cannot be dropping points in games like this. So yeah, I'm going to go 2-0, and I think Hazard's a good captain choice. Now,
what I could see being another 3-3 result here, it's Everton versus Bournemouth. This has got for me. This has got goals galore written on. My goodness,
yeah,
that's a big contest there, and I can see.
You can see Jason's moderating the chat while he's on holiday in South Africa. That is dedication, because I'm just squinting my eyes trying to look at it. I can see notorious nerds saying about Wolves. We will get onto Wolves shortly about their good run against the top teams, which obviously continued last night, a bit in the FA Cup beating.
Yes.
Liverpool, yes.
But yes, on to what I believe will be a goals galore game. And do you know what? Let's go 3-3 again. But do you think... I don't think Solanke's available till February.
No.
Because he's injured.
It's a lot of money for like a player that's not really proven himself. I've got to say.
And a lot of people on a forum, a big forum site that we all know what we're talking. Let's be honest here, Fantasy Football Scout. We all use it, and they brought up this thing about Dominic Solanke, and is he going to be a player to monitor to buy for? He's 4.7 million. He plays for Bournemouth, and a lot of people were saying, well, is he guaranteed to start? And then the argument was, well, hold on a minute, they've paid 19 million. Well, another website I use, Football 365, they did an article today about players that have been bought in the summer for basically high wages and haven't even played this season, and there were just some like names I didn't even recognise, and like Leicester had spent 19 million on a particular player and never even made the bench. So for Solanke to usher out Wilson, and despite the rumours suggesting Wilson may be going to Chelsea, ushering out him and King, he's going to have to prove a lot, and the fact that he's injured, like you said, 19 million. Maybe is that one for the future?
One for the future, yeah. Obviously, a young English player, you know, but he only went to Liverpool like start of last season from Chelsea, and he was promising.
Oh my God, yeah, of course.
So like Liverpool made a lot of profit on this. We've actually got another person in chat who's just joined us for the first time, and he's asking you if you've got a Aubameyang.
Yes.
So you have got Aubameyang. It's more or less got the same team.
We'll get into it in a minute, but myself and Dan are doing very, very well in the rankings at the moment. Well, certainly me, and Dan's picked up. He's getting a lot of green arrows. I've been getting the green arrows. Now, don't get me wrong, the people in our Elite FPL mini league, they are doing phenomenally. So the guy that's top, Jack Gleeson, he's 190th in the world. I mean,
at one point he was 22nd, so yeah, he's been doing very well.
He's been doing phenomenal. But as of late, he's not been doing particularly brilliantly, whereas someone like myself, I'm only 15,000th or something, but I think I've had 2 or 3, maybe 4 green arrows in a row. So since my free hit chip, I've been doing really well. And Dan, who's got the same team as me. Anyway, the point being, I've got Aubameyang, and
thanks for subscribing.
It's one of those where I'm just glad that I've got a player that's continuously scoring all the time. However, I'm actually thinking of getting rid of him. But we're going to come into that in a minute when we discuss the teams. But to finish off Everton versus Bournemouth, as we were saying, I'm going to go goals galore. I'm going to go 3-3. I think anybody that owns Richarlison should be in for a bit of fun here. Bournemouth are terrible defensively. What do you think, Dan, on your former town?
My former town, my former university town. I think it'll be an entertaining game. Everton, obviously, they lost at home to Leicester 1-0. So disappointing result there. Bournemouth, like you said, their defence is a bit leaky. I'm going to keep Richarlison in. I'm going to go for an Everton win. I'm going to go 3-2 to Everton.
Although they haven't won for a very long time, apparently, Everton.
Yeah, they got smashed by Tottenham as well, didn't they? 6-2. So their defence isn't great either. So if you want to watch a game this weekend and you're a neutral, watch this game. Yeah.
Now on to a game which is... this is the one for me, which could be my differential captain choice. Now, a lot of people are going to go with Salah if you own him. A lot of people are potentially going, like Dan said, maybe with Aubameyang. I've mentioned Hazard, but... is that Jack Gleeson?
Jack Gleeson.
The king is here. We bow before you, sir. If you've only, again, for anybody that's joining us in the chat now, we're doing this on our mobile phones, so it's very difficult for us to read the comments, and we can't really interact that well. But if Dan can see anything,
Bakassar saying he's got Digne, but he wants to play him over Deulofeu. I think that's a good move. To be fair,
Digne over Deulofeu.
Yes, in his team.
No, I wouldn't do that. I would.
Well, I don't know. On the free kicks.
Yeah, but Crystal Palace aren't that great at home, and I can see Watford. I always say this: go for the attacking player, especially when they've got a decent fixture. I mean, you as a Deulofeu,
I've got both players. So, do you know what? I'll probably play both. To be fair, I'm saying this. Jack, thanks for saying that about technical difficulties. It's great to be back, and great to see everyone in the chat. So please keep interacting with us. So.
Yeah, but yes, back to what I was saying about the next game, which is the Sunday evening kickoff. I'm at the moment, as it stands, I'm choosing Kane as captain against Man U, because if Man U are conceding against Huddersfield, they conceded against Cardiff, what the hell are they going to do against Spurs?
They conceded a lot of chances against Newcastle, actually. They weren't like really, really clear-cut chances, but Rondon got in a few times. Atsu, another one that got in as well in that game. So I'm thinking against Newcastle, who are not exactly scoring goals for fun. And then you got Tottenham that are like...
That have got some of the best players. And the fact that it's Son's last game as well. This is going to be the last time that Son and Kane are going to be playing together. And I think for me, this is legitimately going to be one of those where this is going to be Kane's final test for me. I honestly believe that if Kane, for me, as a differential captain, can get me a minimum of a double-digit return, so let's just say a goal and assist, I'm keeping him and I'm going to get rid of the Bamiak. However, because the reason why I'll be getting rid of the Bamiak is because I want to bring in Salah. That's kind of like the plan. But if Kane does nothing against United, then I'm getting him gone. So, after saying all that, Spurs against United, do you know what? I think Spurs are going to win comfortably here. They've scored 22 goals in 5 games. One of them being against Tranmere,
7 against Tranmere, yeah. They weren't taking...
But they scored 5 against, who was it, Bournemouth? 6
5
against
Bournemouth,
Everton.
6 away to Everton, only 1 against Wolves.
Poor defences, Man U not looking that great defensively. I think Spurs are going to win 3-1. I think Spurs are going to win. I think they're going to do it, Dan.
The Ole Gunnar effect is going to go on the weekend. No, I think it'll be a little bit. I'm going to go 2-1 Spurs. I think Spurs, because like you said, United conceding a lot of chances. They're playing with more attacking freedom. I think Rashford's still a good option to keep him. But the fixtures after this game, are really good. He might not do many returns on the weekend, but yeah, I'm going to go 2-1 to Spurs.
You're just edging. Now then, on to the final game of the weekend, and a player that I'm thinking of bringing in is actually Aguero, because I like having a potential captaincy option on a Monday evening, even though I've got Sterling in my team, but I'm thinking maybe Aguero in for either Aubameyang or Kane. But again, going on what I've just said, I think I'm saving my transfer. It's Manchester City against Wolves. Wolves, the team that drew 1-1 at Molineux.
Yeah, the hand of Bolly.
And yes, of course.
Yeah, remember him, got your points that week.
They're doing exceptionally well against the top teams, like the top 4 teams. Top 6, in fact. They beat Liverpool last night, albeit it was a weakened Liverpool team. But then again, Wolves weren't full strength. No, they weren't. Not particularly. No. Okay, maybe more full strength than Liverpool, but both teams really didn't look at it. And Wolves... I actually joked with my dad that Wolves are going to win this game because they've got such a good record. And my dad laughed and went, but it's Liverpool. What happened? Well, you get the idea.
Yeah.
Man City versus Wolves. I don't think Man City are going to play around here. They had a 7-0 victory against Rotherham. I know that means absolutely nothing, but I think Man City are going to get their own back against Wolves. Aguero's back. I think they're getting their rhythm together. I'm going to go with a... You may be shocked at this. I'm going to go with 3-0. Could be 4. But I'm going to go 3-0.
I'm going to go 3-1. City have got the bit between the tail. I got this. Well, you didn't see the podcast last time. I got the score right. They beat Liverpool.
Yes,
they beat. They won in the cup 7-0. So the confidence is all going to be good. Wolves have done very well in these big games, but I think this could be one step too far. And Aguero's I know.
Touches the ball, he scores.
Yeah, I mean, we got a few people in chat obviously saying Wolves beat Spurs 3-1. That was obviously an excellent result. And we got a few people, quite a few Man United fans in the chat saying that Lukaku's going to destroy Spurs. We've also got Jason saying that Lindelof, will have Kane in his back pocket, so that could be interesting. And we've also got a question from a Notorious Nerd who's saying, is Sane still a good option?
No.
You got the winner against Liverpool?
Mendy's supposed to be coming back soon.
Forgot about him.
I saw on Fantasy Scout that Mendy's, I think Pep Guardiola come out and said he's 2 or 3 weeks away. I think Sane for now is a perfectly good option as it stands if you don't have a Man City attacking player. But if you don't own Sane, I don't think it's worth bringing in, to be honest with you. I think it's not really... Not for the money, no, absolutely not. No.
Well, it is a tricky one because obviously Son's going to this the Asian Cup. I mean, Son. I know he but he got away with not doing military service. But obviously the World Cup, then the Asian Games, which is why the season was delayed. Now the Asian Cup. So South Korea are getting every little bit out of him. I know he's obviously very proud to represent his country and whatnot, but people are going to be looking for a replacement for Son because he's been such good value for under 9 million. The returns he's had through December.
Could you be looking at Ericsson or Moray as a son of the troll Moray?
Moray, not too sure. Ericsson potentially, yeah. Proven FPL pedigree.
Yes.
Whereas Mora kind of, he has a bit of good form, bit of purple patch, and then he'll go off. So,
is there truth, do you think, in the fact that Moray does take up a more advanced role than Kane, and Kane feels he has to go deeper to get the ball?
It does seem like that, yeah. From the games I've watched, it seems to seem Mora pushes on forward, and then Kane has to drop deep, and then sometimes Kane can get the assist, but it does seem to sort of hinder his game somewhat. I mean, it will be interesting to see what impact Son going to this the Asian Cup, will have on Kane's performance as well. That could be the thing between Kane and Aubameyang, you know.
And the thing is tonight is that I know this isn't FPL related per se, but it still has an effect on our thoughts regarding fantasy football. Me and Dan will be going to the pub to watch the Tottenham-Chelsea game. If you want to see our live reaction at half-time and at full-time to the game, we're at Elite FPL on Instagram. We're just going to put up just our brief minute thoughts on everything. But
I'll be supporting Chelsea tonight.
Well, I was going to say, do you think the teams will be full strength, or do you think... I personally think they're going to be about 95% there. I think it'll be the odd player, for example... Is it Zinchenko or whatever? Edison that plays for Chelsea, the left back instead of Alonso.
Oh, yes, yeah.
I think
a few little changes here and there. But, I mean, they could nearly get to the final, win a trophy.
Is it only one leg as well?
I think it's two legs, yeah.
To win a chance to get to Wembley where they're playing tonight.
It's mad that they need to get into the new ground. But, you know.
No, absolutely, and that won't be happening until about March, if that. But I think tonight could be a test of if Moray does start up top with Kane. For me personally, it's very rare that I get to see football, and tonight I'll be able to see with my own eyes, as they say, the eye test, what Moray's impact will have on Kane. However, I don't think that will happen. I think Son will be playing with Kane, and such a tough one.
Tonight is like a dry run, isn't it? Some people in chat are mentioning Lamella as a potential option. I'm not sure.
Injured, then.
Is he injured?
I think he's injured, or he's got illness or something.
Yeah, I mean, I was speaking to a Spurs fan about Lamella last night, and he was just saying, he's just frustrating. Sometimes he'll have a brilliant game, and then he doesn't deliver. I wouldn't rely on Lamella, not even as differential.
I think from a Spurs perspective, the only one that you can guarantee doing anything is either Kane or Ericsson.
Yes.
If I was getting a midfield option from Tottenham, it would be Ericsson, without question, and obviously Kane, but the amount of money that he costs. But I've got him. So have you.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really affect us, but which like I say, links us into what we're going to be doing with our teams this week. So, have you any thoughts, Dan? Or do you want me to kick off?
Well, you can kick off. I mean, I've just seen a few more people. The chat, just to let you guys know, the chat's appearing briefly and then it disappears on the left-hand side. So we're not ignoring you if you do miss your comments. A few people have been mourning the absence of Son. But as Jack Gleason mentioned in the chat, he's only going for the knockout stage. Obviously, South Korea are going to be one of the favourites for this Asian Cup. They want to do well, so he's going to go to the knockout stages. So he'll play tonight, he'll play against United, then off to join his national team. It's only a short period, this tournament as well, so don't worry too much. But yeah, obviously you've got to look at other options. Maybe Pogba could be one. But yeah, I mean,
absolutely.
Your team looking forward. I mean, it feels like ages since we've had.
I mean,
this.
You had it on your app, didn't you, Dan? But barring our defences, our teams are identical in attack, I believe. So just to run through my starting 11 upcoming, I'm going to go with Patrizio again. I can only go with Patrizio against Man City, but even though I think Man City are going to win 3-0, there's this thing inside me which is like, but apparently their record away against the top six is really good as well. So do you know what? I can see Patrizio maybe potentially getting me a save point. You never know, but I have to play him. Robertson away at Liverpool, that's a no-brainer. Now, this is my tough decision. Do I go with Lindelof or Kika Femenia? At the moment, I'm going with Lindelof, but I think there's a chance that I may change to Kika Femenia up against Crystal Palace, because actually, now thinking about it, I think
that's what I was thinking you were going to say. Yeah.
I think he's got the easier option. Then it's Kolasinac. I've got to play him. Richarlison, Anderson, Son, Sterling. Sterling as well, he's another one for me where this is his last chance redemption. Because basically, so up my top three, Rashford, Aubameyang, Kane, captain.
Sounds good. Sounds familiar.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think I'm going to do a transfer. I think I'm going to hold off the Salah. I don't think this is a brilliant game to bring him in for. Saying that, he's probably going to get a hat-trick now. But I think I'm happy with my team for this game week. And then it's a case of, right, what did Salah do against Brighton? What did Sterling do against Wolves? Kane against Man United? And Aubameyang against West Ham? As it stands right now, I think I'm more than likely going to... I actually think I'm probably going to get rid of Kane. I'm going to get rid of Son and potentially Anderson and bring in Arnautovic, Salah and some bench fodder which I'm never going to play. The only downside to that is that if I was to do that, it would mean I'd have to play a 4-3-3 every week because I'd also have Tom Kenny. I haven't got anything in front of me to actually go through what I would normally do to see if it all works out, but I think we've discussed it before. Salah is a must-have.
Yeah, the fixtures. I mean, the fixture away to Brighton's a good one. The fixtures after that.
You think it's a good one, don't you? I think. It's
I do. I just think this reaction. Obviously, Liverpool fans, there'll be a reaction to losing to Wolves, even though it wasn't the first team.
Yeah.
Losing to Man City, they can't afford to drop points. I know Brighton have been good at home. Obviously, they beat United. They drew with us, and they've done really well. But I just got this feeling Liverpool are going to go out there and say, right, we've got to win this game. Put the pressure on Man City for Monday as well. We've got people in chat. Jack Gleason is saying, well, Sterling has looked so good in the last few games. Yes. I do agree with that. He's got 2 assists in the last 2 games.
But we were discussing...
Could have scored against Liverpool as well.
I'll answer... Jason's here. I'll answer Jason's question. So, in the pod that was unable to load up, Jason asked us if Hazard is worth bringing in instead of Sterling, or do we think that people that have stole Sterling for Hazard, will they be happy or will they be regretting that? I said they'd be happy because if you remember, I was going through the statistics and Hazard has returned something like 5 in the last 7, whereas Sterling's only returned twice in the last 7. I think that despite Sterling performing really, really well, from an FPL perspective, he's done nothing per se. So
to justify the value, that's the thing. Yeah,
yes.
I mean,
especially for Salah.
Possibly. I mean, I've got 2 free transfers.
Oh really? Oh,
yeah,
okay.
That's right. Turnout. So I'm thinking to kind of tidy my team up a little bit. Maybe a new goalkeeper potentially, and also get rid of Rico.
A new goalkeeper? I don't. All right. Okay.
Maybe I don't know. I said about that, but then I can just sit. If I take Schmeichel out, we'll get a clean sheet against Southampton. That's always.
But then you think though, getting rid of a goalkeeper is a bit of a wasted transfer.
Not necessarily, because the games that Leicester have got coming up after this are tough, and Patricio's not really been getting me. The thing is, if I don't play Schmeichel, then I've got to double up on the Wolves defence, and that's really burnt me a few times. And I think Doherty's still good value considering the points returns he's had in previous game weeks, and also his value as well. Some of the games coming up after the Man City game as well look quite good as well. So I don't really want to get rid of him. But it's what you say about Sterling's quite interesting because with his value, depending on what he does in this next game week, I could potentially upgrade him to Salah and make funds elsewhere in my team. So it's going to be tricky.
I personally think that if you want to do well in this game, certainly from this point onwards, I think Salah is a must-have. I think. Yeah,
because Dexter Roos. In our Torbay Elite Mini League that we take very seriously because there's loads of money at stake. Dexter Roos is just beneath me and he's got Salah. So if I don't have Salah, then
it's come to the stage of the season as well where we're pretty much bang on halfway through, and it's a case of right, how do I want to change my tactics moving forward to either what we're wanting to do, get into the top 4 places of our Cash Mini League. Because that's what we take more seriously, the Cash Mini League, more than our overall rank. We could be millionth in the world, but if we end up 4th or even 1st, which is impossible, but we're going to be happy because we won money. And I think going forward for me, I'm looking at teams and I'm just like, right, who are the key players to these specific teams? So, for example, Hazard, Chelsea.
Yes.
Salah, Liverpool. Kane, you get the idea. These are the
FPL royalty.
Exactly.
Basically, yeah.
How do you fit these players like Sterling? For me, I'm actually more thinking Aguero's more the focal point. Sterling's the creator and everything, but it's Aguero that's always at the end of everything. And although ironically, since saying that, now thinking out aloud here, I'm thinking, hold on, how well did Sterling do at the beginning of the season when Aguero was on form?
Yes, yeah.
So actually, it's one of those, we're doing it again.
I know, yeah, this is it. We had this break from FPL because we had the FA Cup, and now it's just back to all these crucial decisions. I mean, it is that crucial time. Yeah, obviously, that links us on, as you like to say often, to the wild card. I don't know. If you're in chat at the moment, tell us if you've played a wild card already. FPL Booner's in chat. Good to see you again, and yeah, everyone else in chat as well. I've got a comment saying.
In fact, I'm assuming again, because you're watching this FPL Booner, you can actually interact with us and Dan be able to see. If you're the guy I'm assuming that's got the same name on the FPL on the Fantasy Football Scout, I actually looked at your team, and like me and Dan, you're doing really, really well of the last few weeks. And I saw a comment made by yourself that it's finally your FPL luck's coming through, and I can feel your what's the word I'm looking for? Your joy.
Yes.
At doing really well after like making decisions like me, in which it's kind of like, wait a minute, these are logical here. I'm captaining. I'm bringing in on my free hit, for example. I'm bringing in Pereira and Vardy or whatever, and they lose 1-0. Or I can't remember off the top of my head what it was now, but basic, simple decisions you would have thought would have paid off completely backfire.
It's so frustrating. I will share this with you guys. The two highest game week scores I've had, and one of them is the highest game week score in our mini league thus far.
What, from you?
Yeah, from
really?
me. Yeah, from me.
It's
107. No, 107. I didn't do any transfers those week. One week I forgot, the other week I just thought, I'm overthinking this, I'm just going to save it for next week. So what I'm trying to say is
why do I bother? I'm going to rip it up.
Don't keep watching the podcast, no. But it's just like, sometimes you can overthink. Sometimes a bit of luck, or just save the game week transfer for the next week. But we've had another comment. Hello from Bangladesh. Thank you for joining us all the way from Bangladesh. And also another person saying, should they keep Rashford and Pogba? I would keep Rashford and Pogba because the fixture's going into January.
Again, sorry to say it, I heard that Pogba didn't fly out to. They went to some training.
They've gone to Dubai, yeah.
And Pogba didn't go. He's actually being treated in Manchester, so maybe that's a bit of a concern for owners there. I'd be a bit worried about that personally. Although I think, as it stands right now, I think Rashford is number one for United striker. Lukaku's just going to continue being that impact substitution until Rashford puts a foot wrong, which at the moment he's not.
No.
I think Solskjaer's just going to go continue playing. Just enjoy yourself.
Competition, because when Solskjaer played, obviously at the time he played, he was Sheringham, Cole, York, competition, and it was like for Solskjaer, every time he had to come off the bench, he had to prove himself. Obviously,
but obviously you and I aren't United fans, but we watch football and we read about it and stuff. And am I right in saying that a lot of United fans were frustrated at the fact that Mourinho was playing Rashford on the wings, but it was no coincidence that when Rashford was put in his natural position up front, he'd actually score. And actually do really well.
It sounds about right. I mean, he was, in fairness to Mourinho, Rashford was doing fairly well towards the end of his tenure. He was getting some returns, getting some goals. In fairness to Jose, but yeah, since Solskjaer's been in, the fixtures have been good, and he's been doing really well. Is it 7.1 he is now?
7.3.
7.3. Yes, his value's going up. So Etheridge is essential, says Jerome Hughes.
You joke. Funny enough, actually, Etheridge was somebody I was thinking of bringing in, but it's just the fact that he plays for Cardiff, and I looked at his returns, and I was just like, it's just not good enough for somebody that's so cheap. You want save points, but he's just not getting the save points. But I think he's now saved 3 penalties this season or something.
Yeah, he's a decent keeper actually. When I see match of the day highlights, he's normally like keeping the score down in some of the games.
I think he's 4.6 at the moment. I don't think he would downgrade Schmeichel to him, for example.
No.
Certainly, yeah, if you've got him in your team, you'd be happy with him and everything. But
We have had another question about tripling up on Liverpool assets. So 2 in defence, 1 in midfield, or 1 in attack from even. So.
Well, I've done that. I did that. And again, talking of FPL Booner and Lux, so in fact, that's actually one of the biggest kind of decision making that I made, where it was like, this is all making logical sense. Liverpool have got the best defence in the league. They've got really easy fixtures. I'd be an idiot to not bring in Trent Alexander-Arnold and Robertson if I haven't got Salah. Well, of the 4 games that I own both of them, Trent only started 2, and then one of the two that he started, Robertson didn't start. So my double up only paid off once. I think looking at Liverpool, what do you think from a defensive asset? That they're good enough, but do you think there's too many options for Klopp to be playing around with, or to do rotation, or do you think that Robertson and TA are guaranteed, or would you say that have Robertson, who's pretty much first, and Van Dijk or Alisson?
Maybe not Alisson, because I'm not mad on high value goalkeepers.
Okay.
But Robertson seems essential. I had him on my team before, and I miss having him in my team because of the attacking return. He got attacking returns against Man City. That was a nice little assist over there. The guy is like, he's just bombing up and down that wing. I don't know what, obviously he's Scottish, what oats he's eating, but he's just constantly on it. And Robertson should be essential. And obviously Salah as well. But I mean, obviously Liverpool's defence last night, their sort of backup options, Moreno. I don't think people are going to be too worried about him. I don't know how. If any Liverpool fans are in chat, how is Moreno still at Liverpool? Particularly, considering a few years ago.
Talking of Liverpool, Klein went to Bournemouth.
Yes, yeah.
What do you think? What do you think from an FPL perspective? I was thinking to myself, 4.4 for an let's be honest here, an England international. He's bloody brilliant. Never played for Liverpool, but whenever he did really, really well. But because of Trent and Gomez's form, he couldn't get in the team. Gone to Bournemouth, leaking goals. But do you think he's an option for 4.4? Maybe you get Rico out.
Yeah, you've just done my team for me actually there, yeah. But I mean, Klein obviously, he's not getting first team action. He's a victim of the success of Gomez, Trent Alexander-Arnold as well. Going to Bournemouth to help shore up their defensive ends. I mean, we are in the January transfer window, so we're going to be keeping an eye on all these new transfers, all these loan deals, because we're going into, as you say, we're going into the second half of the season, and there's differentials to be had. Klein could be one, Solanke could be one. There's obviously, we're still in the early stages of the January transfer window, but we do hope to do a sort of transfer special towards the end of the at the end of the transfer window, talking about all of this. But Klein's an option, differential one.
But we just to finish on like what you were saying about like potential wild card and everything. Have you actually thought about wild carding? Me personally, yes.
Not yet. No.
Okay.
I just keep thinking ahead to the double game weeks, but.
Well, talking of which,
it is tempting.
kind of. Again, apparently, because of the amount of it was only how many Premier League join-ups were there, or match-ups were there for the FA Cup draw? Was it 2 or 3?
I think there was 3.
I think it was 3. So
Arsenal United.
That's right. So those won't be double game weeks for these teams. A lot actually they were kind of looking at this, thinking actually this could be one of the more poorer double game week options because of the amount of teams that could actually not be participating in the FA Cup because they're constantly being matched up with each other.
Yeah, true.
So you never know. Actually, I've always thought to myself, maybe get the wild card, use it now, get a team together which is performing relatively solidly. So, for example, bringing in the likes of Salah, Hazard, Aguero, getting rid of the dead wood, basically. And I have looked into wild carding and I've come up with some decent teams, but having Salah in really, really, really does just mess everything up, and it
breaks up the balance of your team, doesn't it? Because I feel like my team's quite balanced at the moment. But we're bringing Salah in, you're kind of weakening either your defence or your attack. And I got so frustrated, but I've had Son constantly getting me those returns. Basically punching above his weight in terms of FPL. And we're not settled, I think he's.
That's another one. Sorry to jump again. Jason Punchin has gone to Huddersfield.
Yeah.
He's another 4.4 enabler.
That's kind of a nostalgic one as well, because he did quite well for Palace a few years ago. He got a bad injury. Used to be on the old penalties and free kicks. Occasionally got some good returns. So I hope he does well at Huddersfield. But That's another one that could be a potential differential, you know, sort of from the past. We just, as I said, you can obviously see me looking at Steve-O, looking at the chat, looking at Steve-O, looking at the chat, thinking what I'm going to say. The chat is really small on the mobile, but we're really pleased that everyone's been joining us again. Obviously, after not being able to do a podcast last week. Have we got any other thoughts?
No, I mean, unless you've seen something that's popped up briefly as a question, but if not, then I think that's it, Dan. I think for this quick, however long it's been, we can wrap it up and, we'll do our...
Get to the pub.
Yeah.
Exactly, something to eat. So, if you've joined us in the chat, thanks for joining us. If you're watching the replay, comment. If you could subscribe to our channel as well, that would be great. And join us at Elite FPL on Instagram as well. We've got a few final thoughts here. Have a good time, lads, and appreciate your time as well. FPL being Earth and Saf. I can't read that. Sorry, but thanks for everyone for joining us as well, and cheers, Jason, as well for being in the chat. Replacement for Anderson, planning to get him out after Bournemouth game with Charles and Sigurdsson.
Yeah, I was going to
Townsend.
Oh, I wouldn't be thinking of Townsend.
No, Townsend will get a goal of the season, but he won't get him.
But I'm thinking, since Arnautovic has returned, Felipe Anderson has kind of done nothing, and surprise, Arnautovic is 0.4 million cheaper. I think. What do you think of as an Arnautovic third?
He is quite. They mentioned in the chat before. He is quite injury prone, but when he's not injured, he's on it, and he's like the focal point of the West Ham team. So I had him in before. Got me some returns.
What about Nasri? That's another one. Nasri.
And his first game could be against Arsenal.
And didn't he?
5.5 million, yeah.
And is that how much he is?
Yeah.
Because my understanding is underneath Pellegrini at City, that's when he performed his best season. Do you reckon he could get the best out of him in this?
Yeah, I do. To be fair, yeah. Obviously, what is he, 31 now? Something like that. So sort of getting into the twilight of his career. But
maybe something to prove.
Yeah, I mean, imagine that if he scores against us on Saturday. That's just, you just can't write scripts like that. But 5.5. On a free transfer till the end of the season.
But then there's Snodgrass who's 5.6. So I think for a proven player for West Ham, I think maybe just hold back, see what's going on, and take it from there really. But
yeah, definitely.
I think guys, thanks for the support and everything. I think we want to wrap it up because it's very difficult doing it on a mobile phone and squinting, seeing what the chat is. But we really appreciate. I can't tell you how much we enjoy doing this.
Yes.
And we really appreciate the support. And as Dan said, if you want to see more and more content, Instagram at Elite FPL. We just put up basic videos of our thoughts ahead of games.
Well, we're doing one tonight.
We're doing one tonight during half time and full time about how it will affect FPL and stuff and what we think of the game. And other than that, Dan, I think that's a wrap.
That's it, yeah. So thanks for watching us again. And obviously, if you've enjoyed the video, like, comment and subscribe. Thanks a lot.
Brilliant. Cheers, guys. See you later. And in fact, just a quick one before we end, you'll be all a PS. This is the encore of the encore. So you will be aware that Jason's been away in South Africa for 2-3 weeks now. Too long. He will be back on Sunday to do the GW22 live reaction podcast to. Well, obviously, game week 22 so far. We'll probably be doing it just at the end of the United game, just at full time.
Yeah, that's the United game.
Yeah, all the chat will be back. Producer Jason will be back and be able to, monitor what's going on.
Back to normal, basically. But, obviously tonight it's been good to be actually in the same room.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's been really cool. Yeah. And, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for joining us,
See you Sunday and enjoy your football.
Absolutely. See you later, guys.